Good afternoon and welcome to our presentation. So the focus that we had was the feedback and performance appraisal within the company of Workboard. My name is Jasmine and my teammates are Caitlin, Edgar, Tyrese, and Jessica. So a short background of Workboard is it is a startup company that was founded in the year 2013. And essentially what Workboard does is advise other companies to work more efficiently within the companies themselves. So the way that they do this is by using different softwares that are kind of flexible and adapt to the needs of each company they're working for. So they are seen a lot on social media. You can probably find Workboard on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And a few of the companies that they represent that are actually really well known are Cisco, Microsoft, and Comcast. And the way that they do feedback and appraisal within the company Workboard itself is they use a system called PACE, which is performance, alignment, competence, and engagement. And what they use is a 1 to 5 scale determining how poor an employee is doing and how excellent an employee is doing. And the main focus that they have within themselves and what they're selling is the companies they're working for, the people involved in the companies they're working for, the different teams they have within those companies, and the information they are holding and storing for the different companies. And the way that they do this is they adapt to each of their needs, but are still maintaining the same feedback and appraisal forms that they have.
Hello, my name is Edgar, and I'll be going over our method section of our research paper. So we had to collect data to base our recommendations regarding a organization's job performance and feedback system. We chose the company Workboard. We interviewed a total of 3 employees from the organization, and each employee was asked 10 questions in the interview. These 10 questions were created by our group to best assess the current job performance feedback system. These 10 questions can be found in the appendix section of our research paper. All interviews were conducted over Zoom, and interviews ranged from 20 minutes to an hour long. And while our main source of data collection was these interviews, we also utilized the company's website and social media account of LinkedIn. What we gleaned from these is that the company has approximately 127 employees, and that their current headquarters is located in Redwood City, California. And the links for the website and social media account can be found in the reference section of our paper. So our first interviewee was Ron, age 27, a white male, working as a strategic consultant for approximately a year and a half. Our next is Sai, age 24, an Indian woman working in customer intelligence for approximately a year. And finally, Maria, age 45, a Hispanic woman working as the creative director for brand design at Workboard. These interviewees' names have been changed for the sake of anonymity. And with that, I will hand off to our results section presenter.
Hi, my name is Jessica. So for Workboard, I did the interview. What we found is that there was no standard appraisal method. This is largely due to the fact that the company is extremely small and was just started within the past few years. There is no human resources operator, which they actually just hired one in October, I believe, because one of the interviewees had mentioned that. What they are suggested to use is PACE, which stands for Performance, Alignment, Competence, and Engagement. When doing a PACE goal with the employee, the manager and employee should both rate the employees' performance, alignments, competence, and engagement on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being very poor, 5 being very good, and they rate in each section. The employees appreciate this due to the fact that they know exactly where they can improve and what is going on that might make it so that they are not reaching 5s in all their areas. The performance is indicative of their quality of work. The alignment is how in sync the employee is with the company goals, and like their OKRs, which stands for objectives and key results, which is what the company always their product basically is. It's talking about how other companies can improve in their performance. And then the competence is the knowledge of and skills needed for the position at the company, and engagement is their contributions to the company for each employee. So the employees know exactly where they stand on each of those. The one thing, like one of our people that was interviewed, we'll call him Ron, was he got regular weekly interview meetings with his manager for PACE, and he really appreciated that because he knew exactly where he needed to improve and what needed to happen. And one of our other people, we'll call her Sai, is never received meetings and never knew where she stood or how to improve, and she just wanted that in order to further her career. So we saw that there was definitely a desire for regularly scheduled performance reviews. And then all of the employees we found felt self-motivated because we'll see. Sai noted that she wanted to further her career and she wanted to further the company, which would help her in the future. Ron really liked the fact that he always had goals by using their software, the OKRs, and that by having the goals, he felt motivated to reach those. Maria, always our other interviewee, that we'll call her Maria, she felt that she didn't want to let her team down because Workboard focuses on transparency so they can always see who's working on what. And then even though none of them had like a standardized way of everyone meeting with their managers or anything, they always felt like they had support and they could ask for help when needed from their teams or their managers. So that was indicative of, that just showed that the company really did, even though it was small or like there wasn't performance evaluations, there was still good ways that the company performed, even though it wasn't necessarily standardized. And there definitely is still room for improvement.
So I'm going to be talking about the recommendations that we have for Workboard. And so the biggest issue that we have identified with Workboard is that there is no standardized process for performance evaluation. And we think that is the biggest hindrance to performance by their employees. So one thing that we want to keep in mind before we start wantonly giving out recommendations is strategic fit is crucial. So we want to keep in mind different aspects of the company and its culture to make sure that the recommendations we give will be viable and well received by the company. And so the biggest thing that we want to keep in mind when we are talking about Workboard is that it's a very small company with a casual culture. So if we rush in with a lot of hard changes really fast, it might not really be received well. And the first thing we would like to recommend for Workboard is to create a standardized procedure for feedback. Through our research, we found that when managers implement high-performance work practices that has a positive relationship with employee performance, and the fact that Workboard does not have a standardized procedure for feedback, we believe is a real hindrance to employee performance. And so, in keeping in mind strategic fit, we would like to recommend that Workboard uses the current suggested method of PACE goals that employees and managers both seem to like, and to utilize existing electronic systems of delivery and retrieval for feedback appraisal, just to make the learning curve a lot easier when transitioning into this new standardized system of feedback. Going along with the new standardized procedures for feedback, we would also like to recommend mandatory meetings to give this feedback. And keeping in mind strategic fit, Workboard is a very relaxed and autonomous workplace. So the employees might not like it if all of a sudden we come in with a system and telling them how it needs to be operated. So we would suggest that the employees of Workboard decide the regularity of these meetings by talking to their managers and working out a schedule that works for both of them. And in this way, we can keep the autonomous feeling that Workboard employees have with their work and still implement these new systems to better their performance. And doing all of this requires an open dialogue between managers and employees, which seems to be easily available at Workboard because of the smaller workplace culture, and the more relaxed workplace culture makes people feel more comfortable. So that would be a plus in going about this way to recommend these mandatory meetings. So finally, we would like to recommend that Workboard managers start implementing coaching within their jobs. We think that if the managers start coaching and encouraging employees to seek out and receive and respond to feedback, that they will start to develop a culture of receiving feedback and how it is healthy and good for employees to do so within the company. And this will also smooth the transition of this new standardized mandatory feedback appraisal system that we are recommending.
In conclusion, the company that our group interviewed for this project was Workboard Inc., and it's a startup company that helps advise other companies on how to work better. They work to help train software to help fit other companies. And due to the fact that they don't receive formal feedback, our recommendations would help with making a better structure for the company, which would improve the company's overall success rate. And they have a specific method for feedback outside of our recommendations, which is PACE or PACE, and it's when managers and employees rate their performance on a scale of 1 to 5. And usually the company goes over their ratings every week to allow employees to know what they need to work on. And the way we got this data was through an online Zoom meeting. All all of our group members pitched in to come up with interview questions, while one of us went to the meeting to ask those questions. And some of the recommendations that we came up with that would help the company are mandatory meetings, coaching, standardized procedures, and even open dialogue. Since the company has no HR department, having at least standardized procedures is the first step that they should go to in making the company better. And getting any kind of feedback is important for any kind of company, so their employees know what they need to work on with their strengths and weaknesses. And we found that since they seem to be lacking feedback, that's the weakest part of the company. And overall, we hope to give the company some structure to make up from that feedback with these recommendations.